The shocking message that changed everything for us. The message came at 2:47 in the morning. My phone lit up on the nightstand, and at first I thought it was just another spam notification. But then I saw the name on the screen. His name. I froze. The problem was, he wasn't supposed to be messaging me. In fact, he couldn't. At least that's what I had believed for months. But there it was, clear as day, a new text sitting in my notifications. I know what you did. Meet me, or I'll make sure everyone else knows too. My hands went cold. My heart hammered so hard I thought it might shake the bed. Next to me, my boyfriend was asleep, breathing slow and steady, completely unaware that our entire world had just tilted off its axis. And the worst part? I had no idea which thing he was talking about. That was the exact moment I knew nothing was ever going to be the same. To understand how insane this all became, I need to back up a little. I, 25F, have been with my boyfriend, 27M, for almost 4 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I always thought of us as steady, solid, even boring at times. We didn't do drama, we didn't do chaos. We both worked, saved for the future, talked about marriage in that slow, casual way you do when you're not rushing, but you're not against it either. And then came the message. The weeks before it felt almost too normal. We were cooking dinners at home, binge-watching dumb shows, arguing about whose turn it was to do laundry. Nothing out of place, nothing to hint at the storm that was coming. Except, looking back now, there were little things. Like how my boyfriend had been a little more protective of his phone, not hiding it exactly, but turning the screen away when he typed. Or how he'd go quiet at random moments, staring off like his mind was somewhere else entirely. I asked once if something was wrong. He smiled, kissed me, and said, "Just work stress, don't worry about it." And I believed him. Until that night. The next morning, I couldn't even look at him the same way. The text sat in my phone like poison, and I couldn't bring myself to delete it. But I also couldn't bring myself to tell him I'd seen it. Who was it from? Why did it say what it said? What did this person think I had done? I wanted to ignore it, pretend it never came, but deep down, I knew I couldn't. By lunchtime that day, another message came. "Don't think you can ignore me. I'll send proof if I have to." I nearly dropped my phone in the office bathroom. My coworkers were chatting outside, their voices muffled, while I sat on the toilet seat with my heart in my throat. Proof of what? The sender ID was just a number I didn't recognize, but I had the sickening feeling it was someone connected to him, someone who knew both of us, someone who had the power to blow everything up. And here's the kicker. I didn't even know if I wanted to stop them. Because a part of me, the darkest little corner of my brain, was curious. Curious what secret they thought they had on me. Curious if maybe, just maybe, they were right. That night, I couldn't hold it in anymore. When my boyfriend came home, I tried to act normal, cooking pasta like nothing was wrong, but when he leaned over to hug me, I felt myself stiffen. He noticed. "What's wrong?" he asked, eyes narrowing. I hesitated. My phone was burning a hole in my pocket. "Nothing," I said quickly. Too quickly. He gave me that look, the one that said he didn't believe me but didn't want to press. He poured himself a drink instead and changed the subject. But later, when we sat down to eat, I made the mistake of glancing at my phone. Another message had come through. He saw the screen light up. And for the briefest moment, I swear I saw guilt flash across his face. That was when I realized something terrifying. This message wasn't random. It was connected. To him, to us. And whatever secret it held, it wasn't just about me anymore. It was about both of us. I stared at him across the dinner table, pasta untouched, my hands trembling under the tablecloth. He didn't look up, but I knew. I knew the shocking message was just the beginning, and I had no idea if I was ready for what would come next. The fallout started almost instantly. The next morning, I woke up to 5 missed messages from the same unknown number. My heart dropped into my stomach as I scrolled through them, each one colder and sharper than the last. "You think ignoring me will work? I know where you live. Don't test me. He's not who you think he is. Meet me or I'll spill everything. Last warning." I sat there, phone clutched in both hands, trying not to wake my boyfriend. He was still asleep, his chest rising and falling slowly. He looked so peaceful, so normal, like the person I thought I knew. But suddenly, even the sound of his breathing felt wrong. Because if this person was threatening me about him, then that meant what? That my boyfriend was hiding something? That there really was a secret I didn't know? And worse, why did they say I wasn't who he thought I was? The questions swirled so fast in my head, I thought I might choke on them. I tried to go about my day as usual. I went to work, smiled when people greeted me, nodded through meetings. But my mind wasn't there. Every buzz of my phone made me flinch. At lunch, I finally caved and called the number back. It rang once, twice, then went straight to voicemail. No name, no voice greeting, just silence, then the beep. I didn't leave a message. I couldn't. My voice was shaking too hard. When I got home that evening, my boyfriend was on the couch, scrolling his phone. He looked up and smiled like nothing was wrong. But I couldn't unsee it, the way he tilted his screen just slightly away from me. "Hey," he said, "how was work?" "Fine." I set my bag down, trying to steady my breathing. My throat was tight. "Are you okay?" he asked. "You seem off." And right there, in that moment, I almost told him everything, almost shoved my phone in his face and demanded answers. But then the messages echoed in my head again. He's not who you think he is. What if I confronted him and he lied? What if he made me feel crazy? What if the person texting was telling the truth? So I swallowed it down and lied through my teeth. Just tired. He nodded, but I swear his eyes lingered on me a second too long. The next extreme hit came 2 days later. I was walking back to my car after work when I noticed a folded piece of paper tucked under my windshield wiper. At first, I thought it was just a parking ticket, but when I pulled it free and opened it, my stomach turned to ice. The handwriting was jagged, rushed. "This is your last chance. Tell him the truth before I do." No signature, no explanation, just that. I looked around the parking lot, panic rising in my chest. Who had left it? Were they watching me now? I scrambled into my car, locked the doors, and sat there gripping the wheel, my breaths coming too fast. The messages had already been bad enough, but this was physical. This meant someone had been close enough to my car, close enough to leave this where only I would see it. I felt hunted, and the worst part, I didn't even know what crime I was supposed to have committed. That night, I couldn't hold it in anymore. When we went to bed, I stared up at the ceiling in the dark, the note hidden in my nightstand, my heart pounding. Finally, I whispered, "Do you have any secrets you're keeping from me?" He shifted beside me, half asleep. "What? No, why?" "Nothing, just wondering." He chuckled softly, kissed the back of my neck, and turned over. But I didn't sleep at all. Because I knew now, the message wasn't going away. Whoever was behind this wasn't going to stop. And sooner or later, I was going to have to choose. Either confess to him what I'd been hiding, or find out what he'd been hiding from me. The explosion moment came on a rainy Thursday night. I'd stayed late at work, half hoping the storm would calm the chaos in my head. The parking lot was nearly empty when I finally walked out, clutching my umbrella tight against the wind. My car was parked under the one flickering streetlight, the same spot where I'd found the note days before. And this time, there was no paper under the wiper. Instead, there was a shadow, someone leaning against my car. My pulse slammed so hard I thought I might collapse. The figure was hooded, head down, arms crossed like they'd been waiting. Every part of me screamed to run back inside, to call for help, but my feet carried me forward, slow and shaky, because I had to know. When I got close enough, the hood slipped back. It was a woman, mid-30s maybe, with sharp eyes that glinted in the streetlight. She looked at me like she already knew everything about me. "You finally showed," she said. Her voice was calm, steady, but her words hit like bullets. I was starting to think you'd never grow a spine. My throat went dry. Who are you?" Her lips twisted into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Doesn't matter who I am. What matters is the truth, and the fact that you've been lying to him this whole time." My stomach lurched. Lying? About what? "You really gonna play dumb with me?" She stepped closer, and I instinctively stepped back. "He deserves to know. You both do. But since you won't tell him, I will." I shook my head so hard it made me dizzy. "I don't even know what you're talking about." She pulled something from her pocket, a folded stack of papers smudged with rain. She waved it at me like proof. "I know everything, and if he sees this, it's over for you." The storm roared above us, wind whipping my umbrella inside out. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. "What do you want from me?" I whispered. Her eyes locked on mine, cold, unrelenting. "I want you to come clean before it destroys you both." That night, I couldn't eat, I couldn't breathe. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at my boyfriend across from me, his face lit by the warm glow of the lamp. He was laughing at something on his phone, completely unaware of the war raging in my chest. The woman's words replayed in my head, over and over. Lying, truth, over for you. Was she bluffing? Did she really know something about me? Or was it about him? I couldn't tell which possibility terrified me more. The extreme moment came when my boyfriend finally noticed my silence. "Hey," he said, setting his phone down, "you're scaring me. What's going on?" And in that second, I almost broke. Almost blurted out everything, the messages, the notes, the woman in the parking lot. But before I could speak, my phone buzzed on the table. A new text. From the same number. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't stop myself. "Tick-tock. Tomorrow night. If you don't tell him, I will." My boyfriend frowned. "Who's that?" I shoved the phone face down on the table. My pulse was a drum in my ears. "Just work stuff," I lied. But my hands were trembling so bad I almost dropped my glass of water. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about secrets anymore. This was a countdown, and time was running out. The countdown had begun. Every hour that passed, the words tomorrow night pounded louder in my head. I barely slept. Every creak in the house sounded like footsteps. Every buzz of my phone made my stomach flip. I couldn't tell if I was paranoid or if someone really was watching me. The next morning, I woke up to sunlight streaming through the blinds. My boyfriend was still asleep beside me, breathing steady, his hand draped over my waist. I lay there frozen, staring at the ceiling, knowing that by tonight, everything could change. And I still didn't even know what everything meant. At breakfast, I tried to act normal. I scrambled eggs, burned the toast, laughed at his dumb joke about how I couldn't cook to save my life. But under the table, my phone kept vibrating. Another text. Don't forget, 7 p.m., corner of Maple and 3rd. If you don't show, he'll know. I almost dropped my fork. Everything okay? My boyfriend asked, chewing his toast. Yeah, just work again, I mumbled. But the lie was getting heavier. My chest ached with it. The day dragged. Work was a blur. Every time I checked the clock, the hands seemed to lurch closer to 7 p.m. By the time I got home, my nerves were stretched so thin I thought I might snap. I showered, changed clothes, paced the living room. My boyfriend asked if I wanted to watch a movie, but I made up an excuse about needing to run errands. He kissed me on the cheek and told me to hurry back. My heart broke a little, because what if I didn't? At 6:55, I was standing on the corner of Maple and 3rd, rain dripping off my hood. The street was nearly empty, just a few cars rolling past with headlights glowing in the mist. And then, she appeared. The same woman from before, hood pulled low, eyes sharp and unyielding. She walked up slowly, like she had all the time in the world. You came, she said. I swallowed hard. What do you want from me? Her lips curved into that not smile again. I already told you. The truth. My voice cracked. Truth about what? What do you think you know? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she pulled a small envelope from her coat pocket and held it out. Give this to him, tonight. If you don't, I'll do it for you. I stared at the envelope like it was a live grenade. My hands wouldn't move. What's in it? She tilted her head. The proof. The kind that will blow up your pretty little life. Lightning flickered across the sky, thunder rolling close behind. My pulse was hammering in my ears. I can't, I started, but she cut me off. You don't have a choice. Her eyes locked on mine. Either you give it to him yourself, or I'll do it for you. But either way, by tomorrow, he's going to know everything. And then she turned and walked away, leaving me alone in the rain, the envelope heavy in my trembling hand. When I got home, my boyfriend was waiting in the kitchen, smiling like nothing was wrong. He asked if I'd gotten what I needed from my so-called errand. I nodded, but my throat was too tight to speak. The envelope burned in my bag. Do I hand it to him? Do I open it first? Do I burn it before it can destroy us? I don't know. But I do know one thing. If she's telling the truth, tomorrow changes everything. And there's no turning back. The envelope sat on the kitchen counter like a ticking bomb. I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe. My boyfriend had gone upstairs to shower, humming some dumb tune he always hummed when he was happy. He had no idea that his entire world, our entire world, was dangling by a thread. I stared at the envelope. The edges were damp from the rain. My fingers itched to tear it open, but I was terrified of what I'd find. Proof. She had said that word like it meant the end of everything. Proof of what? Cheating? Lies? A secret he'd kept from me? Or worse, something about me? When he came back downstairs, towel draped around his shoulders, hair damp and curling, he smiled at me like nothing was wrong. Movie night? He asked, opening the fridge for a beer. I forced a smile back, nodding, though my body felt like it was splintering from the inside. He didn't notice. He never noticed. That hurt most of all. Later, when he finally fell asleep on the couch halfway through the movie, I took the envelope to the kitchen. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes your ears buzz. I turned it over in my hands. No name, no return address, just a thick, heavy weight inside. I opened it. My stomach flipped the second I saw the first photo. It was him, my boyfriend, sitting at a table in some dimly lit bar. Across from him was her, the woman, the one who had been texting me. His head tilted toward hers, his hand over hers, his smile soft and private in a way I had thought was only mine. I shuffled through the rest, each picture like a dagger, him leaning close, whispering, him with his arm around her, him kissing her cheek. The final one nearly made me scream. It was a photo of him in our bedroom, our bed, and she was there too. I dropped the stack on the floor and stumbled back, my breath jagged. The world was tilting. My knees gave out and I sank against the cabinets, clutching my chest. How? How could he? And why would she send these to me instead of just telling me? Unless, the thought hit me like ice water, unless she wanted me to suffer, unless she wanted me to know. When he came back downstairs, towel draped around his shoulders, hair damp and curling, he smiled at me like nothing was wrong. What's that? I spun around, the photos scattered around me like confetti. His face froze when he saw them. Where? He swallowed hard. Where did you get those? I stood up slowly, my legs shaking. My voice cracked as I said, she gave them to you. His face went pale. She? You know her, don't you? He opened his mouth, closed it, then raked a hand through his hair. It's not what it looks like. I laughed, the sound sharp and broken. It's exactly what it looks like. That's you, that's her, that's our bed. His jaw tightened. You don't understand. My voice turned cold. Then make me. For the first time since I'd met him, he looked small, cornered. His shoulders sagged, and he rubbed his face like he could scrub the truth off. Her name's Claire. We met years ago, before you. I thought it was done. I thought she was gone. But she came back, and she... He broke off, shaking his head. She what? I snapped. She knows things about me, about my family. She threatened to ruin me if I didn't... He trailed off. If you didn't sleep with her? My voice was shaking with fury. His silence was the answer. Something inside me cracked. All the laughter we'd shared, the plans we'd made, the future I thought we had. It all felt like a lie. You should have told me, I said, my hands trembling. You should have trusted me instead of sneaking around like... I didn't want to lose you, he whispered. You already have. The air in the room was heavy, suffocating. The photos on the floor stared up at me like ghosts. Then my phone buzzed. Another message. I told you the truth would come out. Now it's your choice. Stay with him and be my enemy, or leave him and I'll leave you both alone. My hands shook as I held up the screen to him. She's still controlling you. She's still controlling us. His face hardened. Not anymore. He grabbed his keys off the counter. I'm ending this. I blocked the door. And do what? What if she ruins you anyway? What if this is exactly what she wants? His chest rose and fell, rage battling fear in his eyes. Then we go down together, he said, his voice like steel. The storm outside had grown wild, wind rattling the windows, thunder shook the house. Inside, silence stretched between us. This was the breaking point. If he walked out that door, I knew something terrible would happen. If he stayed, we'd still be standing in ruins. And me, standing there, soaked in betrayal, I didn't know if I wanted to save him anymore. The photos on the floor seemed to whisper at me. The woman's warning echoed, hell no. But the truth was, I was the one who knew now, and there was no unknowing it. I picked up one of the photos, him with his lips pressed against her cheek, and held it up between us. My voice was ice. This is what you chose. Not me, not us. This. He flinched like I'd struck him. Please, he said, his voice breaking. Don't let her win. Don't let her take you away from me. But maybe she already had. Maybe the moment he let her into our bed, I was gone. The storm outside roared, lightning flashing across the kitchen. I dropped the photo on the floor and walked out the door. I don't know if I'll ever go back. I don't know if I even want to. But I do know this. The shocking message didn't just change everything for us. It ended us. And maybe that's the most brutal truth of all. It had been 3 weeks since I left him. 3 weeks of silence. 3 weeks of trying to stitch myself back together. I was starting to breathe again, until the letter arrived. It wasn't from him. It wasn't even in his handwriting. It was from her. The envelope was pale pink, perfumed. My stomach twisted as I slid it open. Inside was a single card. The front read, I'm sorry. But the handwriting inside was neat, almost delicate. I never meant to hurt you. He was never good enough for either of us. Let's talk, woman to woman. You'll see, I was always on your side. At the bottom was a phone number, and in the corner of the card, pressed so faintly I almost missed it, was the same lipstick print that had been on his cheek in that photo. My hands went cold. She wasn't finished. Not even close.